If you have been raised by African parents, yeah, and you find it difficult to speak out in public spaces or in interviews or social events, or you suffer from anxiety, or you have people-pleasing tendencies, yeah, what in this video, what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain why that is and how you can overcome that and move beyond that and start expressing yourself in much more authentic ways, yeah? So we're going to come back and then we're going to get into it. Hello. So my name is Christopher Daniels and I help people to overcome self-sabotage, and that's through mindset coaching and also through content creation, yeah? So if you're new here, first and foremost, I have to say welcome. If you're back here again, welcome back. I'm not gonna do it, but you know what it is already. If you know, then you know. So today, literally, what we're gonna, before we even do that, if you are new here, make sure that you do subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. You can even hit the like button right now as well, you feel what I'm saying? That like button, become familiar with it. Cool, so let's get into it. So if you were raised by African parents, yeah, literally, so if you are dealing with, first and foremost, what you gotta realize about them is that they are like the most realist, the most authentic, and the most true to what they believe in. You feel what I'm saying? They always keep it real. That's one thing that you gotta know about them. So I rate that. But sometimes the fact that they are so true to what they believe in can sometimes be harmful to you if you don't understand it. And prior to understanding it, for me, it was a big challenge. And there's so many times there when I was growing up, yeah, my father, he's quite strict, to be honest. Yeah, he was quite strict growing up, and for me, as a youngster, I saw that as something that was that stopped my growth or stopped me from expressing, stopped me from communicating. But it didn't stop me. It just locked my potential. It locked my talent. To what I'm saying, I'm gonna speak about that more. But it's locked. You can unlock it. You feel what I'm saying? It's not permanent. And if you find it challenging to speak out, yeah, it's not permanent, it's just been locked. And let me explain, I'm gonna be explaining why. And first and foremost, what I'm gonna go into is just the way that they communicate to us and their expectations of how we should be. And that's the first thing, their expectations, yeah? So, of course, they want their children to be the best that they can be. And it's not always in the interest of the child, you recognize that. And again, it's not to blame them. It's just how it is. It's not to blame them, because if you look at it like this, yeah, if you look at African parents in general, they tend to compare, yeah, they tend to compare. You did this, but this person's child did that. You did this, but that person's child did that. So when you take that, yeah, what you got to recognize is that they want their child to be perfect, and that's not just because for you. Also, is because they want people to look at you and be proud that this person's done that. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not always about them doing it for you, but at the same time it's for them as well. There's that, you got what I'm saying to you, but they keep it real with that, and you got to look at it like that. So they want you to be a certain way, because if you're not how they want you to be, then it can reflect bad on them, and so they want to shape and mold you in their image. And again, everything I'm saying here is not for you to hold it against them, because that is the opposite of the direction that I'm heading in, but I'll explain that a bit later. But yeah, like I'm saying, they want you to be a certain way, not just for you, or it's for them as well, because how you are reflects back on how they've raised you and what they want you to be. So the outcome of you is going to reflect back. And obviously, you know, a lot of African parents, they talk between each other, so they want you to be a certain way. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the first area that I'm going to talk about, and that's the perfectionism, yeah? So they're wanting you to be this perfect child, whether it is you or a doctor. That's their definition of perfectionism. That's where they're going to push you towards, even if that's not what you want to do. Perfectionism, okay, cool. And why can this cause anxiety, and why can this cause you to not want to speak out in front of people? Again, we got to look at it from a different angle. Yeah, when it comes to having discussions or conversations with African parents, majority of the time, yeah, you got to know that they're right. In their mind, they're right. So for you to challenge them is disrespect. Yeah, you used to challenge. For me personally, being raised by African parents, again, challenging them is disrespect. So you're not going to want to do that. So how do you get your point across? You have to do it in covert ways, innit? You have to do it on the sly. You have to do it behind. So you're hiding to do what you want to do, and that's something that again causes us to be inauthentic, because if we think something's not right, we won't mention it, because at the same time they could challenge us, and by them challenging us, if you're raised by African parents, you're not supposed to challenge back, you know what I'm saying to you? So that tendency there, we take that into the real world a lot of the times, yeah? So us not challenging them takes into the real world that we don't challenge people outside, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. For them, it's a safe space a bit to do that, but what that causes, again, is you going outside, and again, that's why when you speak out in public, sometimes you're not able to say, because you're not sure if it's correct, if it's in that image of perfection, like I mentioned before. So with the African parents, a lot of what you create or what you do has to be in this box of perfect. So if you're aiming to be, if they want you to be a doctor, if what you're doing is not in line with that, then hey, you gotta chill for a bit and come back in line, you feel what I'm saying? So you know that you can't say certain things, you can't express in certain ways, and that's something that prevents you from being your authentic self. You feel what I'm saying? That's why your potential, like I mentioned before, is locked. That's why your talent is locked, because you have to, well, they're basically molding you to be what they want you to be. So everything that comes naturally to you, which is your authentic self, how you express yourself authentically, has to be locked away so that you can do things how they want you to do it. You feel what I'm saying? And why I'm saying this is not a bad thing, this is the best part of it, yeah? They're being real, they're being true, they're being honest. This is what they want, you feel what I'm saying to you? But you got to recognize this, what they want is not necessarily the best for you, and that's not something that, well, they want the best, they want the best for you, but they may not know what's best for you. They think they do, but they may not know. So you've got to, then when you grow up, you've got to take that initiative and understand, if you don't give yourself permission to tap into your potential, your talent, it's going to be locked forever, yeah? I'm going to keep wiping because, again, just sweat below. But like I'm saying, if you don't give yourself permission to tap into your potential, is going to be locked forever. And the reason why I say that is because, again, they have this image and you're moving towards it. So you're going to keep moving towards until you've been told you can do otherwise. You feel what I'm saying? But nobody's going to tell you to do otherwise. You have to tell yourself, okay, now that's not what I want to do. I want to move in this direction. This is what I want to become, and this is what I want to grow into. And again, this is something that's happened to me and a journey that I've been on, and it's been challenging at times, and that's why I feel like it's important to speak out. So for me personally, obviously it got to a point, I'm not gonna lie, my dad actually said to me that he wants me to follow my dreams, and that was a bit like, coming from an African parent, that I was a bit like, what? I didn't understand, but at the same time, like I'm saying, there was a release there where he understood, you feel me? But prior to that, it was kind of like, he wants the best, so they tried to move you into a certain direction, and with him he was strict, like I mentioned before, so it was hard for me to challenge back. So me challenging other people in any situation was difficult, because I felt like, cool, what they want is the best for me, what they want should be right, what they want is this, because I'm always used to like doing what's been said. It's like when people say something, I'm kind of dependent. Like, I'm dependent now. I depend on other people to make decisions, because my decision must be wrong, because I'm not given the opportunity to make any. That's what I thought. So again, they make the decisions for you, so that can cause you to become dependent. You feel me? Dependent on their choices, because their choices are what's final, not yours. Their choices are what's final. So that's why we get anxious a lot of the time. That's why we people please. We people please because we want them to be happy. Because if they get annoyed or frustrated, again, that frustration gets taken out on us. You get what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. That's where the people pleasing comes in. And that's where it was for me a lot of the time. Yo, if I step out and do this, which is wrong, if I step out and do this which is wrong, my dad's going to be annoyed or he's going to be frustrated, so I can't do that. You feel what I'm saying? But again, like I'm saying, they are the realest and they stay true to who they are, which is healthy for us. And I used to think that my dad being strict or this or that was a bad thing for me. It was bad, but it's not. It's actually what I needed, and it's what we all need. We all need them to be authentic and be true. They want the best for us, and that's real. Like majority, not every, they're cock-a-doodle-doodling, you feel what I'm saying to you? I'm in Ghana, that's where it is, that's the norm out here, you feel what I'm saying? But it is where it is, we're out here in nature, like Ralph Smart and that. But yeah, like I'm saying, they want the best for us, and I used to think that my dad should be chilled, relax a little bit more, but if he was, it would take away from who he is. And him taking away from who he is, I probably would lose respect because he's not being his authentic self. But he's being authentic, he's been real, he's been, you know what I'm saying, his intentions have always been good, so it's like that. Sometimes intentions don't match with the actions, you feel me, because you want something different, because you know what will help you and they don't know. But they're just trying their best, but they don't understand, you feel me? That's why it gets to a point where you've got to take over, yeah? So if you're dealing with people pleasing, first and foremost, how do you come out of that? You got to recognize, you got to stay true to yourself and who you are. If you upset somebody by you being you, then that's where it is, that you can't help it. You feel what I'm saying? You got to stay true to who you are. If you're a people pleaser, you got to just be real, be true to who you are. If you're doing something or somebody wants you to do something and you say no, yeah, that's fine. You don't have to. But sometimes we feel bad when we say no. Why? Because the other person's losing out. But if you do it, you're losing your time, you're losing your energy. You feel what I'm saying? Is it worth it? Ask yourself that question. If you find it hard to speak out in public spaces, what you got to do, you got to lean into that fear. You got to lean into it. Because at the end of the day, the anxiety only exists in the mind. It's not real. It's an illusion. You feel what I'm saying? And how do you overcome that illusion? You overcome it by challenging it. Yeah. So you lean into it. What is it that you want to say? Say it. You feel what I'm saying to you? What do you want to say? Say it. Speak out. Once you start speaking out, you'll recognize this, yeah, that it's not as difficult. First and foremost, that the first few times that you do, you might shake a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You might shiver whilst you're saying it. But then you'll recognize it's not as difficult. I've been in loads of spaces. I've been in like schools that I've worked in, and then we'll have meetings in the morning. I would not want to speak, but I'll feel so anxious. And when I had something to say, I'll feel anxious that I'm waiting, okay, I'm going to have to speak after this person, I'm going to have to speak after this person, and the anxiety is building up. But when I do it the first time, it's like, okay, cool, I've done it. The second time I might feel it again, then I'll do it. After that, then you're good to go. So anxiety is overcame by you overcome anxiety by leaning into it, because it's not there, really and truly, it's an illusion. So just do it, and what you would recognize or what you would come to realize, like I said, is that it's not really there, it's all in the mind. And so people pleasing, I mentioned the anxiety. The anxiety, of course, is linked in with speaking out in public spaces. So that's all it is, it's leaning into it. And again, understand by doing that, you're going to be able to express yourself in much more authentic ways. And recognize the way that your parents raised you is going to be, if it was difficult, if they did want you to be perfect, then cool. Now it's your time. I'm telling you now, you have to give yourself permission to do what you want to do, because no one's going to give you that permission. But everything that you've learned from them making you, or they didn't make you, okay, them basically putting that pressure on you to be a certain way, you got to release that. You got to release that pressure and use that to move wherever you're trying to move. Even for me, still, I'm dealing with some things that I'm working on, and I'm working on. Every time I find out something new, I feel stronger. You get what I'm saying to you? I feel stronger. So they didn't stop me. They just locked my talent, and now it's time for me to unlock it so that I can unleash it. You feel what I'm saying? Unleash it to the world, and that's where we're going, yeah? So that's literally it. Again, if you've enjoyed this video, I'll say first and foremost, make sure you do subscribe to keep up with all the future videos, hit that notification bell, drop a comment, like what sort of videos would you like to see on this page, and leave a like again if this resonated with you. On top of that, what I will say is, literally, don't stress, don't panic. Just make sure that you look into everything that I said today and start working on yourself. You feel me? There's brighter days ahead for you. Stay blessed, and I'll see you next time.